Hello, this is Tim Mai, CEO of DoDeals.com, and I'm excited for you to be watching this video. In the next 7 days, I'm going to be answering all the questions that different people submitted all around the world, right? So if you are one of the ones that submitted a video, thank you and congratulations. So here's some of my answers for you. Okay, so this one's from Ted from Florida. What is the best way to find real deals? I live in Palm Beach, Florida. According to Yahoo News, is the leading area in all U.S. foreclosures. I have personally called and talked to a number of investors in this area. They all say inventory is low, and they are having extremely hard time finding deals. I'm putting ads on Craigslist and Backpage.com, and also am advertising the local penny saver. I have buyers but need deals. Please help. Thanks, Ted. You know, Ted is in a very interesting market where there's a lot of buyers, a lot of hedge funds are buying in that area. If you haven't noticed, the market is like looking really good. It's coming back. This is happening throughout the whole country. And so if you are in an area like Ted is, where there's a lot of buyers but not enough deals. The best ways to find deals in these areas is to do direct mail or any kind of marketing, whether it's direct mail or internet marketing, where you are finding the homeowners directly, okay? Where you're getting the homeowners to come to you directly through whatever kind of advertising that you do. And direct mail and internet marketing are, like pay-per-click, local ads. Those things are the best to attract the sellers. Any kind of marketing like the MLS or finding sellers on Craigslist, those are much harder because you have a lot of competition, and so you're not going to be able to find deals as good as if you go directly to the owners. Got it? All right. Next question is from Daniel. Tim, I'm looking for a short-term loan, 6 months, in the amount of $15,000 to renovate basement apartments. The building is worth between $150,000 to $165,000 after completion. I'm willing to pay $5,000 interest to an interested party. It's difficult to obtain small loans. Any suggestions? All right, so there are two parts to this question, and Daniel's from Illinois, from Chicago. So if this is if this is a non-owner occupant property, meaning you don't live in this house, again, this is applicable to any of you who want to get loan on your investment properties. Then I would suggest you go to a hard money lender or a private lender, and especially a private lender for something small like this, $15,000, because it's easy to find private lenders who have a small amount of money in the IRA to invest. In either one of those cases, whether it's hard money or private lender, you're looking at, they want to make sure it's not an owner-occupant property, because they don't lend on owner-occupant properties, okay? So that's one way. Another way, of course, is a business line of credit. If you have decent credit, you can go to like a small bank, a local bank, or a credit union to do that. If this is your homestead property, meaning you live in this house, then going to a bank or a line of credit would be your best bet to go about getting a small loan like this, a home equity type loan. Okay. All right. Next question. Here's Syphonia from Maryland. Okay, Tim, my family has a 17-acre farm in Virginia. My great-grandfather purchased the land 70 acres in 1905 for $1,500. This land means a lot to me from a legacy standpoint. Most of it was sold, but we managed to keep 17. It's zoned for agricultural business. I want to develop it, but don't have the cash. What do you suggest? That's a big question. If you don't know what to do with it at this point, and you don't have the cash, the first thing I suggest you do is just rent it out. If it's zoned for agriculture, then rent it out to a farmer to make some money and just hold it long term until you know what to do with it. it's really not about the cash. If you if you can because if you have a big enough project that you really want to do, there's many ways you can go about finding the cash, finding the partner, and if this is something that means a lot to you from a legacy standpoint, you might even want to consider doing a non-profit and develop something like some passion that you might have around. I don't know, like for me, I love working with kids, homeless kids, orphan kids, and so you can develop a center of some kind around that as a nonprofit, and you make money by paying yourself a salary, and also you make money by having your for-profit company rent the space out to your nonprofit, and your nonprofit get grants and all of that. A friend of mine, Shay Watson, teaches a lot about that, and so if you want to check out her website, it's thepowerofgrantmoney.com, thepowerofgrantmoney.com, and just let her know I sent you. So there's a lot of ideas here that you can do, depending on what you want to do. So first thing you do is like get clear on what you want to do, okay? And if you're not sure on what you want to do, like I said, just rent it out for now. Okay, here's Michelle from Hawaii. Hello from Hawaii. Aloha, I should say. All right. Okay. I live in Oahu. Is that, did I pronounce it correctly? Can I wholesale here? If I can, how? The answer is yes, you can wholesale. You can wholesale anywhere in the world, really. Because wholesaling is nothing more than the business of finding a property for less than what you can find a buyer for. That's it. So let's say if the house is worth $100,000 and you're buying it for $100,000, but you have a buyer that's willing to buy it for $105,000, that's still wholesaling, right? So anytime you can buy a property for cheaper than what someone else is willing to buy it for, that's your wholesaling business. So you can do that anywhere. And I would start with finding out where you can find landlord buyers in your market. Either landlord buyers or fix and flip buyers, meaning they buy it, fix it up, and resell it. Anywhere you can find those people, that could be for rent ads. It could be just putting up some marketing, some Craigslist ads, some signs even, and see what kind of buyers are calling you. Once you have buyers, then you can turn around and look for properties that those buyers are looking for. If the buyer's telling you, yeah, I'm interested in buying in this area of town, I'm willing to pay this much for it, I'm looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or I'm looking for 4-plexes, 5-plexes, 20-unit apartment buildings, whatever it is that your buyer said they want to buy, you then turn around and look for sellers of those types of properties and try to find it for less than what they're willing to buy it for. In the beginning, if you're unsure about what your buyers are willing to pay for it, what you can do is you can just get an option or a flex option on the property that you're dealing with. A flex option is a non-exclusive option, meaning you have the right to market the property for sale, or you have the right to buy the property but not the obligation. So if you change your mind for whatever reason, you can get out of the deal. Okay, so that way you have time to shop it with your buyer. If your buyer is interested in it, great. If they're not interested, you can then, or if they want less than what the seller's asking, you can go back to the seller and renegotiate the price down, and then turn back and sell to your buyer. Okay, so that's sort of the summary of it. Hope that answers your question, Michelle. All right, here's another Michelle from Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, why does it seem like investors do not want to wholesale or do deals with newbies? Everyone keeps saying they're getting properties for free and do not want to do a deal where they pay anything. I'm so frustrated, don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm sure you can't answer that without getting more information, but thanks for providing a forum to express. Well, thank you, Michelle, for saying that. And, whatever investors that tell you that, they are either not serious investors, or they might be sort of newbies themselves, or whatever or maybe they're just having a bad day. But you know, any experienced investors are always looking for deals wherever those deals come. You know, and it really depends on what how you approach them and what you're asking them to do. If you're asking them to train you and all of that, that's a different story. But if you approach any of these people and said, "Hey, look, I just want to be a bird dog for you. You know, or I'm a wholesaler. I want to send you some deals. What kind of deals are you looking for?" Okay. And if they're not interested in it, like I said, they probably just don't know what they're doing or having a bad day, so move on to the next investors. But it's kind of crazy for me to see that this, you know, that if they're in the business of buying and selling houses, they don't want people to send them deals. Okay, so so just approach it from the perspective of, hey, I want a bird dog for you, looking for deals for you, or I'm a wholesaler. What kind of deals you want? I'll send them your way. Okay. Okay. Next is from Craig. Craig actually has several questions, so I'll answer each one of them here. Hello, Tim. We want to start wholesaling by using direct mail for leads. What are the best companies to buy a list, such as absentee owners or estates? You know, listsource.com is one of the best companies out there. Listsource.com. And so, you know, you can buy all kinds of lists from them. And then let me see here. There's another company. Alright, I can't find it quickly right now, but yeah, listsource.com, you know, RealQuest, infousa.com is another one that you know that you can go to. Okay. All right. As far as probate list, you know, I'm not sure if there's a national probate company out there. It's more of a localized thing, so you might want to check around town. And since you're here in Houston, you know, foreclosehouston.com is a company that also has probate leads for you. Okay. Hello, Tim. Could you tell us the names of any companies in Houston that do double closing for wholesaling? For Houston specifically, you can contact Providence Title. Their website is innerlooptitle.com. Innerlooptitle.com. If you're outside of Houston, you know, just ask around other investors for a investor-friendly title company that can do double closings and such. Okay, and so, you know, most investors, especially if you're contacting like wholesalers are the best source to find investor-friendly title companies. And how do you find them? By finding wholesale deals that are in your market. You know, a lot of time you can find them on Craigslist if you just do a search for fixer-uppers, handyman special, wholesale deals. You'll be able to find them on Craigslist. Since they're in the business of wholesaling, chances are they're doing assignments, they're doing double closings. So finding out where they are closing their, you know, their properties is a great place to start as your title company. All right, here's another question from Craig. Tim, I have heard the term blind HUD statement, where in wholesaling the buyer doesn't know the amount of your assignment fee. How is this different from a double closing? This is different from a double. So let me explain real quick what a blind HUD is, and this might be over the head for most of you. Maybe not most, but a lot of you. Blind HUD is when you know you have HUD 1 settlement statement is like a spreadsheet that details out like all the closing costs that happens in a real estate transaction. Everything from the buyers and the sellers. Okay, there's two columns, one for sellers, one for buyers. And a blind HUD is where the sellers can only see their like their fees on their settlement statement, on the HUD 1 settlement statement, and the buyers only see their fees on the HUD 1 settlement statements. So because in most closings, the sellers and buyers can see both of those columns. So the buyers can see what the seller's fees are, the sellers can see what the buyer's fees are. And so in the blind HUD, they can only see their own. Okay, this is totally legal. At least I know legal in Texas, anyways. I don't know about other states, so you might want to check with your attorney around that. And most title companies do not do these type of closings. Okay, so you have to find a super investor-friendly title company that's willing to do these kind of deals. Okay, so how is that different from a double closing? Is that there's only one closing. There's only one closing, so that it's less closing costs, less complications. A double closing is two closings, right? Double. And you know, with a blind HUD, you can just assign your contract instead of having to fund the first transaction and then, you know, turn around and get funding for the second transaction. Now I know there's also double closings where you can use your buyer's funds to fund the first transaction as well. Okay, again, it's all very title company specific, and so it's best to hook up with wholesalers in town, ask around, you know, ask around until you find someone that knows how to do it, and the title companies that will do it. For those of you who are in Texas, I mean in Houston, you guys are lucky because you can use the title company that we use, which is Providence Title, so innerlooptitle.com. Cool. All right. Here's another question from Craig. What's your number one way to find cash buyers for your wholesale deals, and do you market out of town buyers? Thanks. My number one way to find cash buyers is actually two ways. The one way is to post Craigslist ads, and when I say Craigslist, it's not limited to Craigslist. Depending on your area, you know, Backpage.com might be popular. You know, eBay Classifieds might be popular in your area, and so whichever way that is that's popular in your area, like that's the best way to go. Okay, here in Houston, Craigslist is the dominant one. It's the most popular one. So Craigslist is a great way to find cash buyers. Make sure you say cash buyers only in your ad, so that way you know you don't have the other type of buyers contacting you. Another best way to find cash buyers in our area is signs, just like bandit signs. So you know, when you have a property in a certain area, you flood that area with signs. And you have a lot of different people calling you. So those are the two best ways to find cash buyers, pretty much anywhere. The cool thing about with the signs, the cool thing about that is that you're finding buyers that are very specific for that neighborhood, because that's the neighborhood they're driving in, that's the neighborhood they're paying attention to. On Craigslist, on the other hand, you find, you know, buyers from all over town, all over, you know, the world. Anyone in the world have an interest on buying properties in your area, they would look for ads in your area and buy from you. So we don't market specifically for out-of-town buyers. They, you know, if they do come, they just come, but we don't like actively market them. Most of the buyers we sell to are local buyers. I do have friends that, you know, that sell to like foreign buyers in packages of homes, so that does happen too. Okay. All right. Here's a question from Jim from Maryland. I hear people talk about posting ads on Craigslist 9 times a day. How do they do this when they're only allowed to repost every 48 hours? They do this, Jim, by posting different ads. So they change their ads up, right? They change their ads around so they can post more times in a day. And the idea behind posting Craigslist more times in a day is so that way your ad stays on that first page of Craigslist, you know, because depending on your market, Craigslist have a lot of traffic, a lot of properties posted. And so like here in Houston, if I post an ad in the morning, you know, by lunchtime it's already on to like the second or the third page, so I have to post ads more regularly, right, to keep it on the first page. So just change the ads around. Another question from Jim is, are you the creator of Flex Option? If you are, could you explain the following? So the answer is yes, I am the creator of Flex Option. You've heard other people have been using it. I created that back in 2007, you know, because of something I was doing before that, where I have all these wholesalers coming to me wanting me to help them sell their, you know, all these investors wanting me to help them sell their properties, and I wanted to find a legal way for me to do that. So I created the flex option and I started teaching that to other people in 2007, and it just became a really popular thing since then. All right. What is the paperwork between me and the end buyer when I find the end buyer? That's a great question. So it depends, right? If you are, so first thing you do is once you find an end buyer, you're going to convert your flex option into a contract or an assignment. So if you let's say seller A, you have a flex option with seller A, who, let's say that is a wholesaler. Okay, so it really depends. So let's say the wholesaler says, yes, I will double close it with you, and let's say I'm the or GM, I'll make you the person who has the flex option. Okay, so you have the flex option from wholesaler A, so you're party B. And so wholesaler A says, okay, I'm going to double close it with you. And then, you found a buyer. What you can do is then you can then assign, so the wholesaler A is going to sign a contract with you. So A and B sign a contract together, and you, B, you're going to assign that contract to your end buyer, which is C. Okay? So that's one way you can go about it. Now, if it's not a wholesaler, if it's a normal seller, then that would also be the case. Okay, so the seller signs the contract with you, and you sign an assignment to your buyer. You can also choose to double close it to your buyers, but I recommend that you assign it as much as possible. Much easier to find a title company that will do assignments, and also it's less expensive to do that as well. Okay, now second question: what are the steps when my end buyer is ready to close? Well, yeah, so I kind of answered that, right? So once your end buyer is ready, like they're interested in buying, the first thing you want to do is you want to convert your flex option into either a contract or an assignment. So let's say the wholesaler says, well, I don't want to double close it, I want to assign it to you. So the wholesaler is going to assign his contract over to you, and then you're going to assign your contract over to your end buyer. And then from there you submit all those information to the title company, and the whole process works like normal. Got it? All right. Well, that's all the questions I got for now. So with that, thank you for watching this video, and go ahead and send in more questions, and I'll answer them. All right. See ya. Bye-bye for now.